Hi, welcome back. And today we're going to go over steps 6 and 7. So in the previous steps that I had done, step 4 and 5, we made a searching fearless moral inventory of ourselves, and we turned it over, gave it to our sponsor, to your therapist, to God, to the ocean. You gave it to somebody. And in that is in recognizing our patterns and behaviors, as they're called shortcomings or defects of character. That was a hard pill for me to swallow, a defect of character, because I felt that I was acting in the way that I knew how to act unconsciously. And now that I've become conscious of my behavior, I get to look at those so-called shortcomings, right? And I'm now in 6 is looking at those defects of character through the work I did in step 4, and another seeing it in step 5. And now in 6, I'm seeing that, me having anger, fear. I've made a list here that I'm going to kind of go over with you. But like I was saying, in the 4, we asked to take a searching and moral inventory, right, of ourselves, and then we find out that we've got what we need to get rid of it. So anyways, and then after that, we kind of want to look at and be honest and admit to ourselves what was in the way, or how I'm looking at how I behaved and where that stemmed from. And here's just a list I kind of wrote down. So resentment, anger, fear, self-pity, self-justification, self-importance, self-condemnation, guilt, lying, dishonesty, impatience, hate, false pride, denial, jealousy, envy, laziness, procrastinations. That was huge for me right there. Insincerity, negative thinking, immoral thinking, perfectionism. That's another one. Intolerance, criticizing, loose talk, gossip, greed, and so forth. So I was told in step 6, which is on page 76 of the big book, it says we have emphasized willingness as being indispensable. Are we now ready to let God remove from us all the things which we have admitted are objectionable? Can he now take them all, every one? If we still cling to something, we will not let go. We ask God to help us to be willing. And then there's a prayer in step 7 that's about my Creator. I'm now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and to my fellows. Grant me strength as I go from here to do thy willing. But to some that is kind of religious, and for me it was like I had a hard time even doing any and all of that. I didn't feel authentic with it. So and I started to realize that some of those so-called shortcomings were my way of protecting myself, and it was the way I operated. But as I grew in sobriety and in recovery by doing a lot of other work, and not just the 12 steps, but a lot of shadow work and other things, I started to recognize that being envious is not serving me, it's hurting me. So what I saw in 6 and 7 actually was that the universe was putting mirrors in front of me, other people that were triggering me, that I would see something within, and there was judgment, or I would say, I don't like this about that person. But now today I look at that as that, what is that person showing me? Is that not with judgment, that's a defect of character, but rather than where is this stemming from? Now, why is this triggering me? And how can I do the opposite? Because when I become conscious of that thing that I'm doing or somebody else is doing, now I can look at things objectively and through a different lens, and hence switch and turn it over. So the universe and the God of your understanding, my understanding, spirit, infinite intelligent consciousness, I was able to stop drinking and using drugs and other things that I was doing that was hurting myself. So it's the same in the manner, right, with the way I'm thinking and behaving, because it comes from this shell, this protective shell, or the fight or flight way of going about things, and hence these characters I've made a contract with that have become a part of me. But now as I'm evolving and awakening, they're no longer serving me. So in looking at that, what do I want to keep, and what is it that I'm willing, right, to let go of, and to ask the universe to help me release, let go, and transform those ways of doing things. Like for a long time, like I put on a piece of paper, procrastination. So you get, like I was told to get like a 3x5 cards and to put, 3 or 5 of your top so-called defects of character, and to keep it on myself, and to, when I see myself doing that, do the opposite. So procrastinating doing something because I'm making excuses for them. So what would be the opposite would be to take action, right? So what about if I'm in anger or rage, right? So I would, anytime I'd become angry, I'd have to stop and see what would be the opposite of anger, right? And that would be to pause and to kind of look at things differently. Maybe to come from compassion. So, and then so forth. And then envy was another thing. Like I'd look at other people's life and really become envious, but I would only see like this much of it and wouldn't see the whole picture. So what would be the opposite of envy? For me, it was gratitude, was to give in one way or another, and to recognize that I'm well taken care of where I am, that each of us has a story and a way of living that that suits for us, that is the way, that I'm not meant to have the things that you have, but not to be envious, but to be grateful, and for you to have even more of what it is that you want, to take that envy away, because it's not serving me, it's hurting me. It would put me in a place of lack. It would put me in a place that I'm not good enough or deserving enough, and hence that creates so many other problems, right? So with 6 and 7 is kind of, I'm looking at what no longer serves me, what behaviors, and I get to see my patterns through 4 and 5, through the steps 4 and 5, into my patterns, how I become envious. When do I get angry? When is it that I procrastinate? Or when is it that I'm lying or deceiving, not just you, but to myself? And how to go about doing the opposite of those things. So it's taking action, right? So I'm taking action in shifting things that I used to do that used to work for me. Hey, they protected me, they worked for me because it is all I knew. But now that I know differently, and I'm becoming somebody different, because the 12 steps promises you that, and you're to get those promises actually in 8 and 9 later, which is the next 2 steps. But within this step, I'm recognizing that, you know what, being this way just doesn't serve me anymore. And so if I'm in fear, I'm to have faith. I can't have both, on the same side of the card. It's fear or faith, right? It's being honest or dishonest. It's stealing from you or giving to you. It's recognizing, your wholeness, and not needing to put you down. So people are mirrors, and they're all here to show us, what I love in you is what I love in me. What I don't like in you is probably something that I'm not liking in me. And hence, how can I change the way I look at you, and how I look at the world, and how I look at myself? Because when I'm looking at you, I'm really looking at myself, because we're all connected. So 6 and 7, and it's a progress. It's not like, okay, all right, God, here's X, Y, and Z, or here, universe, here's what it is, and take it away from me, because that's not how it works. We get tested, and we get tested with having faith, or living in fear, or, stealing, or giving back and trusting. And that takes a willingness, right? A willingness to see, where is it that I'm at today, and how am I willing to change my life for the better? And so I can come back and help humanity in consciousness awaken, that we don't have to live in old behavior, old pattern, and old character. That it's okay. We've come to Earth. We're all going to go through this shit. It's hell. And then we get to find goodness in it, and we get to find purpose in it. And that's the gift, and that's the beauty, is that there's got to be compassion and empathy for self. And that's why this is such a self program. Again, you don't have to stay in a 12-step program to go through this, but it surely was a catalyst for me. So I can go after the 12 steps, be able to share with you all the other things that has come through as a result of working the 12 steps first, and then other things came. Now, you don't have to do that. But 6 and 7, like I said, it's right here. So it just talks about in the book. It says we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly ask Him to remove our shortcomings. So same thing, shortcomings, defects of character. But again, I don't believe that we have shortcomings and defects of character. I feel like, you know, we were just given life without the book of life, and we've picked up things along the way, and we made an attachment to them, and we thought that, you know, in protecting ourselves or being angry, that's the way it's supposed to be. Or if I was to steal from you, then I could eat, or I could get what I want. And we just need to be tweaked a little bit and to show a different way of the world, so we can see things differently, and we don't have to act in ways that hurt other people or take from other people, because when we do that, we're really shortcoming ourselves, right? So let's pull a card. And today I just kind of wanted to grab Ascended Masters. I don't know why. And then I still have my other card. If you have not subscribed, I would love for you to do that and leave a comment if you would like. And if you have any questions, please email me. I'd love to hear from you. I have my email down below. And we have the card of fertility, which is perfect because what are we giving? That's just it. You know, fertility, Pan, which is, I hope that it's focused here for you. So it says, everything is turning to gold right now. There's good news about pregnancy or adoption. Let go of worries or guilt and enjoy yourself. Now's a good time to start projects. And this says, this card signifies that it is a very fertile time for you. This is an ideal time for the conception of a new project or a baby. All doors are open for you right now. Your mind is fertile with many wonderful new ideas, and abundance easily flows to you. Since everything is in infancy stage, have patience with the growth process. Just nurture yourself and your projects so that you stay strong and fertile. And that is so beautiful, because that's just it. You know, this is such a new process. You know, the 12 steps, it is a new beginning. It is something that you're giving birth to. What you're giving birth to is a new you, right? So in giving birth to a new you and to really releasing those thoughts and feelings and beings and behaviors that don't serve one anymore, you're getting to kind of uncover, discover yourself. And that is fertility, right? Who am I now becoming? And not needing to stay with who you were unless it's still serving you. And if it's, and there's still things from the past that are still serving me. And enlightenment. So yellow, and that's just it. Becoming, you know, this is a time of great awakening. This is the time to really see yourself through the eyes of the universe. This is the time to see yourself through the eyes of Source. And here with yellow, so this is free will. This is your solar plex, right here. And I'll go straight to the book. So you're becoming enlightened about yourself, about your life, about your process in life. At this time, your journey is more important than your destination. Remember, if you face your fear, you will grow stronger. Relief awaits. Here's the card. It says, my thoughts always drive my choices. How can I use my thoughts to heal myself? Path to enlightenment. The reluctant sage. Taking time alone to connect. Trusting your intuition. Needing solitude time for reflection. Support. Courage and confidence. What beautiful cards that have come out, right? So in looking through what no longer serves you and how it served you before, and thank it, bless it, release it, turn it over, and start to see who are you and begin the process of change. Namaste.